jump down to the next verse, verse 3. Read that for me. You know, it's one thing to get a recommendation letter. Sometimes as a pastor, people come to you and they want you to do a letter, a recommendation. Sometimes it's such an honor and a pleasure to write a recommendation letter, and sometimes you have to swallow and pray. Because you don't want to tell no lie on paper. And it's admirable when people can speak and write well of us. But as I read this verse, I thought to myself, it's one thing when man can recommend you, but when the God of the universe can write a recommendation letter to you, he who knows your heart, your thoughts, your intent. And it says here, now the man Moses was very meek. I looked up that word to see what I wanted to know a little bit more about what that word meek meant. And it says, it's translated throughout the Bible, some places meek, but many places that word is translated humble. And I smiled because I said, God gives grace to the humble. God exalts the humble. And the Bible says here that Moses was the meekest, humblest man on the earth. Let me interject just to remind you again tonight that God scans hearts. He doesn't tell us if Moses had a six-pack, if he was 6'5", what kind of camel he drove, but what got the attention of God was his heart. In a world that focuses on exterior and performance, I just want to remind you tonight that God looks at our heart. Remember little David? God had to pinch the prophet and remind the prophet, hey, I don't see like men see. Men look at the outward, but I look at the heart. And here it is that the humility of Moses' heart, not his education, but his humility, not his three-piece suits, but his humility. That was the adjective that the Bible used to describe Moses. I thought for a second, what if heaven could print out an adjective that described me, what would it be? If I could ask for a resume from heaven, what would it look like? Would the resume come back from a God who can't lie to say boast, angry, vain, selfish? I wonder what description, controlling. I wonder what adjective, if this was my verse in the Bible, and the man Matthew was, and the man Young was. If it was your name put in this chapter, and the Bible could say, and Ashley was. I kind of recoil for a bit and say, boy, I'm glad my own not in there. But it's wonderful that in the midst of this situation, God who scans the heart of men said, boy, Moses are the meekest, humblest man. Not in Antigua, not in Europe, but on the planet. Wow. God said, this man is humble and meek in my sight. You talk about aspiration and goal. Say, God, make me a vessel. Make me bold, break me until my heart is right before you. Come on.